Hello friends, you're watching Totally Unapologetic with me, Sheikh. Guys, drug addiction is a social evil in India. It is the tragedy of our days that millions of youth, the future of this country, falls victim to the habit of taking drugs. But our government is definitely keeping a close eye and is watching and trying to get this off from the roots. In this episode, I am in conversation with a man who for some is a brave narc who decided to do his job no matter how powerful his quarry is, while some targeted him, calling him to be a bully, going after richies and famous people for benefiting his position. Guys, I'm talking about Sameer Wankhede, a name every household knows today for all the good and bad reasons. But this man is way beyond all the controversies, His struggle story to become who he is today, which is not only the most famous IRS officer in the country today, but in a very long time, is definitely very, very inspirational. An experience you must know about. So don't skip and stay with me throughout the whole conversation. You're gonna love it.
I served as a manager, I served as a cashier, I served as a waiter. हमारे influencers हैं like Captain Vikram Batra, Captain Anuj Nair, Shahid Bhagat Singh. What knowledge of polity, what knowledge of history, what knowledge of economy. Terrorism is a problem, but drug, again, why it is a major problem? Because ये हमारे youth, हमारे जो young बच्चे हैं, हमारे जो youngsters हैं, उनको ये touch करता है.
बिल्कुल. I come from a Muslim community, I got married to a Hindu. Absolutely. And I don't know why people out who criticize such things and who make a fuss out.
We are staying, fortunately we have a beautiful constitution. And I'm blessed. My mother is coming from a different religion, my father is coming from a different religion. When we are celebrating Diwali at the same time, when my mother is celebrating Eid at the same time. What a beauty. But unfortunately, there are some people having malified intentions, malified interest, who try to spoil, vitiate this kind of thing, because there is dirt in their mind. सिर्फ अपने देश भक्ति की है और देश के लिए काम किया है. So I get a very sound sleep, not scared about anything, what will happen tomorrow. And I consider myself fortunate if anything happens to me in the line of duty. देश सेवा कर रहे हो, ढंके की चोट पे करो.
Thank you so much, Sameer Wankhede ji, for doing this amazing conversation with us. And I'm really, really excited. It is going to be a very important episode for all my viewers who are watching us today, all the youth out there. Probably I have no words to even explain the kind of work that you have done. How do you feel like? What is the pressure like?
First thing, thank you for the kind words, what you said. But I would just like to reiterate, I'm just a government servant. And that translates into being the servant of the people. And I don't consider it to be, something very great or something like that. I'm just serving the people. I'm just serving my motherland. That's it. Secondly, me being an IRS officer, being a part of the civil services. So these kind of job or whatever task has been given is expected out of each and every person who's entering into this. So this is nothing great or something out of the box what I'm doing. I'm expected to do such things, and I'm substantiating my salary what I'm getting.
But I would just like to know a little more about you. You're a face that everyone is familiar with today. Everyone knows you with your name, with your face. How has this been working for you? I mean, all of a sudden, after the previous cases that you've solved and the previous cases that you got yourself into, आफ्टर दैट चेंज कितनी हुई आपकी लाइफ?
देखिए चेंज आई मीन प्रोफाइल वो जहाँ पर आप जो डिपार्टमेंट में आप पोस्टेड होते हैं, सो एवरी डिपार्टमेंट हैज़ अ डिफरेंट एथोस वर्किंग कल्चर. कुछ पब्लिक इंटरेक्शंस होते हैं, कुछ पब्लिक इंटरफेस होते हैं, कुछ सम जॉब्स आर काइंड ऑफ इंटेलिजेंस रिलेटेड वर्क्स वेयर यू डोंट हैव, यू जस्ट वर्क एज पर द SOP, डोंट हैव एनी पब्लिक कॉन्टैक्ट. 16 years of my career, most of the time I've been in, fortunate to serve in many agencies which are serving nation at a very highest level, So I've been fortunate enough, thanks to the government thinking me capable and posting me there. But coming to the last posting, what I've done was I was the zonal director of the Narcotics Control Bureau. एंड जो हमारे भारत की जो मेन प्रॉब्लम है, जो दो मुख्य प्रॉब्लम है, जैसे कि टेररिज्म एंड ड्रग्स. राइट. भाग्यशाली हूँ कि ड्रग्स के साथ फाइट करने का मौका मिला मुझे. एंड कुछ हद तक जितनी हिम्मत थी, जितनी कोशिशें की है हम लोग ने, एंड फॉर्चुनेटली यू नो वेरी कंटेंटेड द काइंड ऑफ सर्विस व्हाट आई.
बट द काइंड ऑफ वर्क दैट यू आर डूइंग, द पोजीशन दैट यू आर इन, उसके साथ साथ जितनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज आपके कंधों पर थी उतना ही आई एम श्योर कि बहुत सारा टेंशन, लॉट्स ऑफ ड्रामा यू सी एवरी डे, यू नो, व्हाइल बीइंग इन दैट पोजीशन. How do you deal with all those difficulties that you face at your job?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, these kind of job, it requires commitment,
Right.
Towards your nation. And these kind of jobs are risky jobs also. When you're fighting the drug menace, the people themselves, they are into drugs, they are consuming drugs. So, of course, वो खतरा तो होता ही है. लेकिन this is, as said, part and parcel of your job. When you enter this kind of services, so you're ready for all these kind of things. So then later on you cannot crib about it, you know. So yes, and it is a challenge for me. I mean, I just cannot sit home fearing about the threats which are coming in. Second, coming to the second part of that, yes, family ka there is a stress, of course. When you deal with such kind of dirty people, such kind of dangerous people, तो family का होता है. लेकिन I'm fortunate to have such kind of family के वो लोग ने कभी, you know, never they have kind of shed their inhibitions. Of course, I care about them. The kind of pressures, the third part of your question, the kind of pressures, yes, pressures are there, and we are trained to handle such kind of pressures. Now ऐसा लगता है कि जब आपने कुछ कभी गलत किया नहीं आपके लाइफ में, सिर्फ आपने देशभक्ति की है और देश के लिए काम किया है, so I get a very sound sleep, not scared about anything, what will happen tomorrow. So yes, I'm contented, come home, whenever I sleep, with my head I sleep. So
समीर वानखेड़े जी, आप यहाँ तक कैसे पहुँचे? हाउ वॉज योर चाइल्डहुड लाइक? आपने अपने बचपन में क्या कुछ किया? क्या बचपन से ही आपका सपना था कि हाँ मुझे बड़े होकर IPS ऑफिसर बनना है, देश की सेवा करनी है?
First time anybody is asking me regarding my childhood, I'm so happy कि something I'm talking something else.
Okay.
See, मेरे जो माता पिता थे, my father ये काफ़ी humble background से आते हैं. एक बहुत छोटा सा गांव है वाशिम इलाके में, एंड काफ़ी मेहनत से, मुशक्क़त से वो शहर में आए. ही डिड हिज पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन. काफ़ी गरीबी उन्होंने देखा है, एंड आफ्टर दैट सेल्फ मेड मैन. ही जॉइंड एज अ स्टेट एक्साइज ऑफिसर इन मुंबई, एंड देन आफ्टर दैट वेरी फॉर्चुनेट के मेरी माता जी से मिले, जो एंड शी वॉज कमिंग फ्रॉम वेरी गुड फैमिली, एंड हरियाणा से, शी हेल्स फ्रॉम हरियाणा. And after that, love marriage in 78, they came across from different cosmopolitan culture. Right. She coming from different religion, my father coming from a different religion. And I remember childhood में ठीक है गरीबी थी, but we had a very good time, you know. Me and we stayed in a government quarters. तो मैं, मेरी best friend मेरी बहन थी, जो मेरे से 1 साल एल्डर थी. कोई विसिनिटी में कोई भी लोग नहीं थे, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट क्वार्टर्स काफ़ी अलग थलग सा था वो. तो मी एंड माई सिस्टर, माई डैड एंड माई मॉम, वी वर आवर बेस्ट फ्रेंड्स, यू नो. जैसा मैंने आपसे कहा, काफ़ी मेहनत से मम्मी डैडी ने पढ़ाया हमें. स्टडी एजुकेशन सेंट जोसेफ हाई स्कूल बाजू में ही किया मैंने, हमारे जो क्वार्टर्स थे उसके पास में. उसके बाद में जैसा कि कहा कि पिताजी भी मेरे काफ़ी, ही वॉज एन ऑनेस्ट ऑफिसर, तो वो भी काफ़ी ईमानदारी से अपनी ड्यूटी उन्होंने निभाया. तो पढ़ाई करते करते जब मैं 11th में गया, थोड़ा आफ्टर माय स्कूलिंग, तो मेरी माताजी ने सोचा कि अभी बच्चों को पढ़ाना है, आगे भी एजुकेशन देना है, सिस्टर को पढ़ाना है, मुझे पढ़ाना है, तो सैलरी से इनकम नहीं हो पाता है, तो समथिंग कुछ बिजनेस किया जाए. तो जो हमारी पेरेंटल प्रॉपर्टी मेरी माताजी की थी, जो उनको जो पुश्तैनी मिली थी पेरेंटल प्रॉपर्टी, तो उसे फिर कुछ डिस्पोज ऑफ करके हमने एक छोटा सा रेस्टोरेंट लिया, मेरी मदर ने. तो रेस्टोरेंट में मैंने भी थोड़े दिन काम किया. मॉर्निंग में स्कूल जाता था, इवनिंग कॉलेज जाता था, इवनिंग में रेस्टोरेंट में काम करता था मैं. तो मैंने, आई सर्व्ड एज अ मैनेजर, आई सर्व्ड एज अ कैशियर, आई सर्व्ड एज अ वेटर, यू नो, मेरे जस्ट यू नो टू मीट द एंड्स ऑफ द फैमिली. तब मुझे वो टाइम पे थोड़ा ऐसा लगा कि सिस्टम समथिंग समवेयर इज़ रॉन्ग, यू नो. आप काम कर रहे हो तो फिर करप्शन की बातें आ जाती है, यू नो. व्हेन यू रन अ बिजनेस एंटरप्राइज, सिस्टम ऐसा हो जाता है कि कोई लोग आपसे पैसे मांगने आ जाते हैं. आई वुड नॉट लाइक टू स्पेसिफाई द डिपार्टमेंट. तब आपको लगता है कि व्हाट्स रॉन्ग विद द सिस्टम. मैं तो मेरा ईमानदारी से काम कर रहा हूँ, मैं थोड़ी ना कोई गलत काम कर रहा हूँ जो मुझसे पैसे मांग रहे हैं. देन माई मदर टोल्ड मी कि ये आप बैठ के यहाँ पर रो रहे हो, आप बैठ के क्रिप कर रहे हो, सो बेटर यू एंटर द सिस्टम एंड ट्राई टू चेंज द सिस्टम. यू नो डोंट सिट ऑन द पेरिफेरी और आप लोगों को ब्लेम कर रहे हो कि ये गंदा है, ये करप्ट है, ये करप्ट। यू एंटर द सिस्टम, मेहनत करो, यू एंटर द सिस्टम। तो वहाँ पर क्लिक हुआ वेर मेरे माता जी ने बोला, देन आई स्टार्टेड यू नो स्टडिंग फ्रॉम फॉर सिविल सर्विसेज राइट फ्रॉम माई 12th standard.
When you were discussing about all this beautiful memories from your childhood, and of course how you came to a decision that you want to serve into this government sector and help
Right.
people.
Right.
I noticed one thing. You said that your family has been your best friend,
Right.
be it your sister, your mother, and your father. लेकिन मैंने फिर भी आपका एक इंसिडेंट सुना है जहाँ आपकी सिस्टर यास्मीन ने आपको बोला खेलने जाने के लिए, एंड you said no to her. So you have always been very disciplined from the very childhood. तो ये चीज़ आप में बचपन में ही कैसे आ गई थी कि हाँ आपको इतना डिसिप्लिन रहना है? आई मीन अमूमन आपकी उम्र का बच्चा नहीं सोचेगा उस वक्त कि मैं बोलूँ नहीं मुझे खेलने नहीं जाना. एवरीवन वुड वांट.
नहीं, आई नो अभी
I want to play.
या जैसा कि एंड माय मदर वाज वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट. शी नेवर कॉम्प्रोमाइज ऑन प्रिंसिपल्स.
ओके.
शी नेवर कॉम्प्रोमाइज ऑन द स्टडीज. मेरी एल्डर सिस्टर थोड़ी बदमाश थी बचपन में, अभी भी है. तो बट I was a very disciplined child right from my childhood. I was a mama's boy.
Oh, okay.
Whatever my mother told me, I has to listen to that. And
Boys are generally, but yeah.
absolutely. And so my mother had told me, and entering civil services, जैसा मैंने आपको बताया, बचपन से ही आर्मी, बचपन से ही एनसीसी, एंड देन कुछ कहानियाँ बचपन से ही मदर का वो प्रभाव रहा है. जैसा कि यू नो रामायण की, डिस्पाइट माई मदर कमिंग फ्रॉम मुस्लिम फैमिली, लेकिन जैसा कि छत्रपति शिवाजी की कहानियाँ सुनाना मुझे, उसके बाद में यू नो रामायण की भी कुछ कहानियाँ सुनाना, तो बचपन से इट वाज अ डिसिप्लिन काइंड ऑफ थिंग व्हिच वाज गोइंग ऑन.
That's just so amazing to have you being around a culture or an environment wherein you know that you are so secular. You're having secular parents around you and such upbringing, and I'm sure that must have impacted your mind in a way that you are also living in a beautiful space today with your family.
Absolutely.
So how would you just say कि आपकी family जब आप जाते हैं अपने missions पर, I'm sure raid करने के लिए, तो how your family react to that? How supportive are they with you?
See, जब तक मेरी मदर शी वाज अलाइव इन 2015, शी वाज वरीड, क्योंकि काफ़ी बार ये जो एंटी नेशनल एक्टिविटीज़ जो करते हैं लोग, तो दे ट्राई टू अटैक ऑन थिंग्स. ये होता ही है, हर एक के करियर में होता है. सो 2010 से 13 तक भी काफ़ी यानी एंटी ड्रग ऑपरेशंस किए हम लोगों ने. काफ़ी गैंग्स वर्किंग एट द एयरपोर्ट को न्यूट्रलाइज, इंटरनेशनल गैंग्स वगैरह के खिलाफ में भी हम लोग ने काफ़ी एक्शन किया था. सो वो टाइम पे भी कुछ इंसिडेंसेस ऐसे हुए थे जो घर में मेरी मदर को पीड़ा पहुंची थी उस वजह से. तो शी वॉज वरीड, बट आफ्टर माई मदर पासिंग अवे, ऑफकोर्स मी, माई डैड, माई वाइफ, तो वाइफ का भी होता है स्ट्रेस में. क्रांति माई वाइफ, वो भी काफ़ी स्ट्रेस में होती है कि जब भी नाइट ऑपरेशंस होते हैं, कुछ डेंजरस इलाकों में ऑपरेशंस होते हैं. अभी मुंबई के भी जैसे कि कुछ कार्टल्स, फॉरेन के कार्टल्स, नाइजीरियन कार्टल्स वगैरह थे, तो उनके साथ में कुछ मुठभेड़ वगैरह, लीगली एक्शंस उनके ऊपर भी हुए थे, तो उसमें हमें भी चोट आई थी. एंड जब भी आप कुछ इलाके हैं, साउथ मुंबई में भी कुछ डेंजरस इलाके हैं, तो वहाँ पर भी जब ये वायलेंट एक्टिविटीज़ होती है इनकी, तो वेन एवर यू कम होम यू आर ब्रूज्ड, कभी आपको भी चोट लगती है, तो क्रांति वरीड होती है, बच्चे वरीड होते हैं, स्पेशली व्हेन किड्स आर स्मॉल. बट अगेन आप काम कर रहे हो, देश सेवा कर रहे हो, तो आई कंसिडर माई सेल्फ फॉर्चुनेट इफ एनीथिंग हैपेंस टू मी इन द लाइन ऑफ ड्यूटी. तो वो चीज़ है कि ऐसा मौका कितने जनों को मिलता है ऐसा काम करने का. और मरना तो मेरी माइंड में, आई हैव वन थिंकिंग, मरना तो है सबको, इट्स जस्ट अ मैटर ऑफ टाइम, 1 साल 2 साल 3 साल. लेकिन अगर देश के लिए अगर आपको कुछ होता है तो यू विल बी वेरी फॉर्चुनेट. आई थिंक कैन बी मोर फॉर्चुनेट देन दैट.
Samisa, when we were discussing off the cameras, and we were talking, I remember you told one thing, that when you go out onto the race to perform your duty, you have even told your wife your LIC number. That remember this, okay? That I was stunned to know that. Like, that something might happen, but it's okay. You are still so loyal towards your job. You know that this is something that you are supposed to do, and you are doing it in the right way. How does this come from?
Of course,
like itna motivation, no
yes,
dar.
Yes, and of course, yes, I have 2 policies. I can tell that on camera. I have 2 policies of LIC. So that I used to tell Kranti ke kabhi if I don't return, these are the policy, these are the numbers, and you and my kids are the nominee. So हो जाता है. You have to be mentally prepared. Your family has to be mentally prepared. And I'm fortunate के my father who is plus 70 now, उन्होंने कभी उफ नहीं किया. उनका भी फुल सपोर्ट है कि कभी भी डरना नहीं, कभी भी झुकना नहीं, गलत काम के लिए कभी भी झुकना नहीं. क्रांति इज देयर, क्रांति भी काफी सपोर्टिव है.
Those are the words that I'm sure that whosoever is watching today
Of course,
right
of
now,
course.
you know, बहुत अच्छा क्लिक किया होगा ना. I'm sure बहुत मोटिवेट होंगे
And
आपके
one more
words
thing,
के साथ.
and one more thing I would like to tell the youngsters.
Yes.
देश सेवा कर रहे हो, ढंके की चोट पे करो. डर के, भयभीत होके, there is no point, absolutely no point.
Now, let me just, come back to this. The cases that you have solved, they all have been very, amazing cases. Also very much politicized, for XYZ reasons. But yes, if I talk about like Riya Chakrabarti case or the Aryan Khan case, which you call Cordilla Cruz case, how did all those things, gone with you in your career? How do you see those things? Like they gave you a lot of limelight. You came into the eyes of cameras. But how did you deal with all of what was going with those cases?
हमारे लिए मेहर, all whatever cases are there,
Yeah.
all cases are important for us. And मैं I would like to communicate through your interview also.
Yeah.
See, for भारत सरकार के लिए, हमारे लिए सब cases are equal. All cases are important for us. But the kind of cases, ये जो आपने cases जो mention किया है,
जी.
these are not the watermark cases of what we have dealt with.
I'm sure.
These are cases, no doubt these are important and we are just doing our duty. लेकिन मीडिया भी या पब्लिक भी उन चीज़ों को ज़्यादा उजागर करती है, उन चीज़ों को ज़्यादा हाईलाइट करती है जहाँ पर देयर आर नोन पीपल.
Yeah.
हमारा फोकस वो नहीं है. हमारा फोकस यही है कि हमारा भारत का एक संविधान है, हमारे भारत का एक कायदा है, हमारे भारत का फॉर एग्जांपल मैं कस्टम में तो कस्टम एक्ट है, एनसीबी में था तो एनडीपीएस एक्ट है. तो ये कायदा सबके समान, एक पर्सन के समान, सब लोगों के समान एक कायदा एक ही इम्प्लीमेंट होगा. आई कैनॉट सिट हियर, I cannot do injustice to my job by saying that there are two different people and I will implement two different rules for them. I cannot do that. And if I'm doing that, I'm not fit to be in the service then. Number two, जैसा मैंने आपसे कहा कि कुछ लोग हैं जिनका फेस, सो कॉल्ड फेस वैल्यू होता है, तो वो ज़्यादा मीडिया उनको फोकस करती है. लेकिन नो, हमारा वो फोकस नहीं है. हमारा फोकस होता है जो देश के लिए बिगर एनिमी है. जैसा कि हम काफ़ी एजेंसीज़ में हम आई हैव वर्कड इन लॉट मेनी एजेंसीज़, तो वहाँ पर देयर वर लॉट मेनी सीरियस एनिमीज जो पब्लिक या मीडिया के सामने नहीं आते. व्हाट वर्क वी डन, वी आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू डू वर्क विच आर लो प्रोफाइल एंड बिहाइंड द कर्टन्स. लेकिन कुछ ये केसेस ऐसे हो जाते हैं जो मीडिया ज़्यादा हाईलाइट कर देती. सो इसका ये मतलब नहीं होता कि हमारा फोकस सिर्फ एक सेक्शन ऑफ सोसाइटी में है. अगर आप हमारा परफॉर्मेंस हमारे जोन का या जो मेरी पहली एजेंसी एनसीबी का अगर परफॉर्मेंस देखेंगे पहले का ऑल इंडिया, सो वी हैव बस्टेड लॉट मेनी केसेस. यानी लगभग महाराष्ट्र में हमने 2 टन 2000 किलो ड्रग्स पकड़ा है. उसके अलावा भी काफ़ी ऑर्गेनाइज गैंग्स को हम लोग ने लीगली उनके ऊपर एक्शन लिया है. दीज थिंग्स आर नॉट बीइंग रिपोर्टेड मच बिकॉज उनके फेस वैल्यू, द सो कॉल्ड फेस वैल्यू, मीडिया ज़्यादा इंटरेस्टेड नहीं होती, तो वो काम पब्लिक तक नहीं जाता है हमारा. और हालांकि अगर ये जो केसेस आपने मेंशन किया है, ये तुरंत मीडिया की आंखों में आ जाता है.
बिल्कुल.
लेकिन वी इक्वली जो लॉ ब्रेक करते हैं, जो देश के कायदे कानून में बिलीव नहीं करते, वी टेक एक्शन ऑन देम इक्वली.
I know that your existence have been way before these cases, but I don't know why those cases were not talked about. And yes, for right reasons, you have already mentioned why. But when we talk about these drug mafia, and I'm sure कि जिन लोगों को नहीं पता है उन्हें भी और पता लगे कि किस तरीके से आपने ड्रग माफिया को एक तरीके से खात्मे पर लेकर आए हैं आप, जिस तरीके से आपने काम किया है आज महाराष्ट्र में स्पेशली. व्हाट आर योर प्लान्स? लाइक आपका एक इनिशिएटिव भी आपने ड्रग को कम्प्लीटली ख़त्म करने के लिए स्टार्ट किया है. व्हाट डू यू वांट टू से अबाउट ऑल दैट?
Yes, absolutely. Now, despite me not being in NCB, I'm in some different agency now, working in some different capacity out there. बट जैसा कि मैंने इंटरव्यू के शुरुआत में आपसे डिस्कस किया था कि हमारे देश में द मेजर प्रॉब्लम इज टेररिज्म एंड ड्रग्स. ऑफ कोर्स टेररिज्म इज़ अ प्रॉब्लम, बट ड्रग अगेन व्हाई इट इज़ अ मेजर प्रॉब्लम, बिकॉज ये हमारे यूथ, हमारे जो यंग बच्चे हैं, हमारे जो यंगस्टर्स हैं, उनको ये टच करता है. देश की प्रोग्रेस, एनी कंट्रीज, एनी डेवलपिंग कंट्री, डेवलप कंट्री, अंडर डेवलप कंट्री, आप उनकी डेवलपमेंट को नापेंगे उनके यूथ के पॉपुलेशन पे, कि हाउ मच दे कैन कंट्रीब्यूट, द यूथ हाउ मच दे कैन कंट्रीब्यूट, अपार्ट फ्रॉम अदर पैरामीटर्स लाइक एजुकेशन, डेवलपमेंट, लिटरेसी एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स, जीडीपी एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स. बट यहाँ पर जब यूथ की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, तो हमने ये देखा कि इट हैज़, मुंबई जैसे शहर में, गोवा जैसी सिटीज़ में, इट हैज़ ड्रास्टिकली एंटर्ड द हाउस ऑफ द पीपल. यंगस्टर्स जो कॉलेज में हैं, जिनके लिए ड्रग पीना इज़ अ नॉर्मल फैट. मैं काफ़ी लोगों को हम लोग ने रिहेबिलिटेट करने की कोशिश किया, एंड जब उनको हम इन्वेस्टिगेट करते हैं तो दे टेल अस, अंकल ये दिस इज़ अ नॉर्मल फैक्ट फॉर अस, यू नो, अगर हम ड्रग्स नहीं पिएंगे तो वी वोंट बी एक्सेप्टेड इन दिस सोसाइटी. पीयर प्रेशर इतना है कि वी आर नॉट कूल इफ़ यू डोंट कंज्यूम ड्रग्स. सो जब ये एक भावना आ जाती है हमारे यंगस्टर्स में, सो इट इज़ वेरी डेंजरस.
I know, and when you are talking about this, I really want to know, since I am a very young person and a lot of youngsters are going to watch this. आप तो बहुत सालों से इस इंडस्ट्री में काम कर रहे हैं, बहुत क्लोजली आपने देखा है ड्रग्स लेने वाले लोगों को. आपको क्या लगता है कि स्पेशली द यूथ, उनके दिमाग में पेयर प्रेशर के अलावा और भी कुछ बातें होती होंगी जो आपसे डिस्कस करते होंगे, यू नो, जब आप इंटरोगेट करते हैं उनको, तो वो क्या रीजंस देते हैं एक्चुअली करने का इन सब चीज़ों को?
इनका बहुत सारे रीजंस हैं. जैसे कि जो सोशल मीडिया है अभी, देयर आर लॉट मेनी सोशल एप्स विच आर गोइंग ऑन. जो सोशल मीडिया, दीज आर प्लेइंग एज इन्फ्लुएंसर्स इन यंगस्टर्स माइंड बेसिकली. कुछ ऐप्स ऐसे हैं जिनके मैं नाम नहीं लेना चाहता हूँ, तो उस ऐप पे ये लोग जाके, जो यंगस्टर्स हैं, दे वांट टू प्रूव द आर्टिफिशियल लाइफ कि वी आर सो कूल, यू नो, वी आर हैविंग बिग व्हीकल्स, वी आर इन्फ्लुएंसर्स बेसिकली. बीइंग इन्फ्लुएंसर्स मीन्स वेयरिंग गुड गॉडी क्लोथ्स, having big vehicles, smoking weed, marijuana,
and being in a cool attitude all the time.
And yeah, and surprisingly, you know, I have done some kind of research in this, and they're getting lot many likes. They're having million followers, you know. So people want to follow their kind of lifestyle. So आप देखेंगे ये सब artificial life है.
True.
And secondly, जैसा मैंने आपसे कहा, there are some industries, there are some sector of people. अगर आप ड्रग कंज्यूम नहीं करेंगे, यू आर नॉट एक्सेप्टेड.
यू आर नॉट एक्सेप्टेड और काउंटेड इन दैट सर्कल.
काउंटेड, यस, एंड दे विल बी टोल्ड, अरे आप तो अंकल हो, आप तो यू नो, आप तो आंटी हो, बहन जी हो, अंकल हो. दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स व्हाट पीपल टेल अस. In order to cope up with that kind of pressure, no, you consume drugs and you be cool. You be accepted in the society, which is completely wrong. हमारे influencers should not be these kind of people. Who should be our influencers? हमारे influencers है like Captain Vikram Batra. 23 years की उम्र में they are laying their lives, not even thinking twice about it. Captain Anuj Nair, again 23-24 years, not even thinking about the life. Shahid Bhagat Singh, again 23 years old. यानी what knowledge of polity, what knowledge of history, what knowledge of economy. ज़बान पे उनके पढ़ाई. 23 साल की उम्र में ब्रिटिश साम्राज्य हिलाने वाला इंसान.
You are absolutely correct.
So these people should be our influences of the youth.
I totally buy it because I know, being in such a circle, I know so many people who are following the law, you know, wrong influences, I would say.
Absolutely.
Who should not be followed just because they are living in those glittery world. You are following them, it's of no use. Of course, names that you have mentioned are definitely people that should be followed as not just influencers,
yes,
but
yes.
as examples, you know. Let's just hope, you know, that our youth today, हमारे जितने youngsters देख रहे हैं, उन्हें ये बात समझ आए और drugs जैसी चीज़ों से बिल्कुल ज़रूर बचें. जिस तरीके से आप और आपका डिपार्टमेंट मेहनत कर रहा है, वो definitely इन सब चीज़ों से बचें. When I talk about all these things, definitely family comes, you know, in my mind every time when I sit with you, because you are doing such a great job with so many risks around you. I want to know like how it goes with you and your wife particularly, you know. How this has been, you know?
अभी after coming out from NCB, fortunately I have Saturdays and Sundays with me now.
Okay.
16 years of my life. Okay. These are the first Saturdays, Sundays I'm enjoying with my kids, with my family. But yes, she's happy. But earlier जो माहौल था, माहौल काफ़ी, you know, nights you are not present in the house. Kids, never you spend time with them. In fact, I have 3 kids. One is you know, he's 13 years old, and one, I mean, I have twins who are just 3 years old. So जो मेरे twin हैं, they fail to come to me, you know, they fail to recognize me.
Oh, okay.
And this was the kind of lifestyle what I was living before a few months. So very stressful, very difficult. Anytime you have to leave the house, anytime आप कहाँ हो, you're out of the state, you're within the state, you know. It become very difficult for a normal wife to cope up with all these things. But I'm fortunate that I have a very understanding spouse who also shares my mentality, who also thinks first is Desh, first is nation, then we all come. So you go ahead and do your job first.
Great,
fortunate
guys.
to have
Everyone
such kind of
should
spouse.
find
Yes.
definitely a partner who understands and respects the job that we are doing.
Of course.
Of course. The one piece of advice that you want to give to our youth today, I mean the people who want to join such forces, I really want, you know, many people to join the forces and help the government and also the country in the same time to grow together and to be, you know, to create this particular nation, a place wherein we can all live peacefully? What is the
Absolutely.
piece of advice that you would
See,
like to
youngsters के लिए I would like to tell them कि never give up, number one. Number two, more and more come to civil services, come to army, give your bit to your nation basically. हम लोग ऐसा है कि जब यूथ भी आजकल, my niece are there, my nephew, my son, he is growing up also. So the kind of thing कि जब सोचते हैं कि हमें कौन सी अच्छी एजुकेशन मिलना चाहिए, हम ये करेंगे, हम वो करेंगे, विल गो टू फॉरेन कंट्री, प्लैब करेंगे, NET देंगे and all those things. But what is your bit you are going to the nation first? Do that, do your bit, serve your nation first. Secondly, we don't have right to crib unless and until we enter the system. आप system enter करो, try to be that change, try to change the system. हम corruption के बारे में रोते हैं आज. Try to give a good administration, corruption को शन करो. And हमारी ऐसे developing country के लिए corruption is a big issue. And thirdly, when you work against this kind of set norms and principles, these kind of so-called principles, then you face a lot of opposition from people. You will be shamed, you will be hated, lot of allegations will be put on you. But you need to have the guts, you need to have the moral strength and mental strength to face that.
Absolutely.
आपको भी बुरा बोला जाएगा. जब आप अमृत पीने की आप में क्षमता है तो विष पीने की भी क्षमता होना चाहिए.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. You cannot just go ahead and seek
Absolutely.
people's appreciation all the time.
So people will be naming you, defaming you. You should have the guts to face that.
Indeed. However, there is one more incident that I recall from your childhood. I'm sure pretty, you must also remember that. So there was this incident about the bread. You went to a shop, you took the bread because since the shopkeeper was not there, you took the bread and you came back home. You gave that money, the mother, your mother, you have been very close to your mother. Your mother have given you some money to buy some bread. But now you have given that money back to her and also, gave her the bread. What did she, what was her reaction like? What she told you?
I don't
was
know.
Was it a kind of,
did you
literally steal?
No, it was, you have really researched very well.
Okay.
Because less people know about this incidents apart from my family. I remember I was very small, I might be in first or second standard, and as said, my place was a very isolated place. We couldn't afford a mainstream house, so it was a very isolated place during that time. So there was no shop available, and morning ka tha, ghar mein nothing was there. So my mother had told ke Samir, you go, this is the place, you take 1 or 2 rupees or something like that, go and bring a bread. And there was a very small kind of a joint, I went there, I saw it isolated, it was a morning time, probably the person might have gone somewhere, I don't know, it was an isolated, koi bhi nahi tha. So I went there, what I did was, I took that loaf of bread innocently, 5-6 years old bacha.
And you were running late for the school
I was running late for the school, and I really gave my best effort to wait for 5 minutes for that man to come.
Okay.
I shouted, but nobody was there. I took it, I came back, I told my mom, this is your money, you kindly give. I was having that intention, you take the bread, you give it, you tell your mom, mom, ye paisa bhi hai, tum de dena usko baad mein. Okay. I was really, bashed very badly by my mother, sorry to say that.
I am sure.
And she told me, you would have gone hungry, but you wouldn't have touched that. This is completely wrong, and that always struck my mind now also, Wrong is wrong, now I realize that. So learn the hard way, yes, of course.
So true. But when you talk about your family, you said that your loving mother, she was coming from a Muslim community and she got married to a different community altogether. You have been raised in a very secular environment, And I could definitely feel that because I have the same things, that happened to me. I come from a Muslim community, I got married to a Hindu. But I see the beautiful things out there, how both the cultures are different, yet we are so good together, And I don't know why people out there have been a lot of people, who criticize such things and who make a fuss out of it.
Absolutely.
I have no idea. What are your thoughts about those people?
See, you rightly said, Meher, now we are staying, fortunately we have a beautiful constitution.
Indeed.
It is expected out of our constitution, right to, fundamental right. It is the right to religion is there.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed. Secular country, secular constitution, I'm blessed. My mother is coming from a different religion, my father is coming from a different religion. Just imagine the beauty of my house when we are celebrating Diwali at the same time, when my mother is celebrating Eid at the same time. Indeed. What a beauty. So we are blessed to have such a house. But unfortunately, there are some people having malified intentions, malified interest, who try to spoil, vitiate this kind of thing, because there is dirt in their mind.
Of course.
And I'm fortunate there are only few people in this country, who have such kind of dirty minds.
Agree to that. Now, for the youngsters who are watching you right now, what would you like to say about this particular part? How they need to lead their life, wherein how they can make this country more beautiful. They don't have to think about religion. They don't have to think about anything other than the real intentions of the people that they are being around with.
See, for me, my religion is my nation.
Right.
So for them also, first, their religion is nation. In fact, I don't have that kind of policy. If anybody asks you religion, you should write India.
I wish it could have happened.
That is, your religion is India, so the nation come first, the country come first, then come your personal thing. And religion, for the youngsters, I would like to tell, religion is something internal.
Very personal.
It is something very internal, very personal. It is a matter of faith. It concerns you. But for you, your nation comes in first. First do your national duty, first serve your nation, then comes in religion for.
For me, being so young and coming from an industry, media industry, we meet a lot of people with different perspectives altogether. But when we sit, and trust me, when something talks about religion in that particular group, I feel like my country, where is it leading to? We 4 people are sitting here. We should be discussing about our economy. We should be discussing about the things that are happening around us. Being like really, good citizens of this country. And what are we discussing? We are discussing the religion thing. Come on, this is so
very
personal.
True, very true.
Why are we discussing that?
But fortunately for me, as said, I entered the services in 2006. So 16 years, 17 years down the line.
Yeah.
Till last 6-7 months, I never faced any kind of such thing,
Yeah.
And I was fortunate, I had such beautiful experiences in my service, good seniors, good environment, nobody bothered about religion. Suddenly for some people, religion became very important.
Yeah, there were a lot of news about it, a lot of hype.
Absolutely, and my wishes with them, my sympathies, my wishes with them. I wish them all the best luck. How much ever they can think ill about me.
How beautifully you just throw away all the tension from you. How beautifully people need to learn this skill from Samir Wankhede ji for sure. But thank you so much, Mr. Wankhede.
Pleasure talking to you.
Beautiful conversation that we had, and I'm pretty much sure that I have definitely given a great content today to all my viewers. Including you, that you literally helped us to build such an amazing content.
It's an honor to be on your channel, and it's a pleasure to talk to youth, especially talking to you also.
Thank you.
All my wishes to your channel, all my wishes to you and the youth.